here's the interesting thing. You know who may lose his job, at least according to some of the rumors, is the CEO of Stellantis, Carlos Tavares.
The U.S. Dealers Council just made a shocking announcement about Carlos Tavares, and it looks like he has been ousted following a monumental uproar from dealers. This shakeup isn't just about swapping out a top executive, it hints at much deeper issues lurking within this automotive giant. So what's exactly happening at Stellantis? Can the company rebound from this upheaval, or have they lost the trust of their dealers and consumers for good? What's going on? Stellantis is a heavyweight in the automotive arena, born from the merger of Fiat Chrysler and PSA Group, and it boasts a lineup of beloved brands like Jeep, Dodge, and Chrysler. Almost ever since that merger, they haven't been doing good. That's when the U.S. National Dealer Council just dropped a bombshell letter on CEO Carlos Tavares, and it's got everyone talking. They're not just complaining about the office coffee, we're talking serious concerns about where this automotive giant is heading. See, dealerships across the country are worried they might have to close up shop if things don't change fast. Why? Because for 2 whole years, their concerns have been falling on deaf ears. It's like the big bosses have been wearing noise-canceling headphones while the dealers scream into the void. Now, here's where it gets tense. The dealers are so fed up, they've taken their issues public. These folks just want someone to listen. Stellantis tried to hide it under the rug, bragging about their fancy new action plan. They're throwing around numbers like a 21% sales bump in August and a tiny market share increase. But guess what? The dealers aren't buying it. They're giving those stats the side eye, knowing the real story is way more complicated. The company's profits have taken a hard hit, plunging nearly 48% in the first half of 2024. This isn't just a minor setback, it's a staggering fall that's got stakeholders questioning the very foundations of Stellantis. It's like the execs are living in their own world while the dealers are stuck in the trenches. Can these two worlds collide and find common ground? Or is Stellantis heading for a crash that'll shake up the entire auto industry? Well, let's talk about this. But before we do that, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you won't miss out. Empty lots. See, the cars on the dealership lots are there. People are nowhere to be found. Remember how 2 years ago, many industry analysts were already waving red flags, predicting that some heavy hitters in the automotive game, namely Jeep, Ram, Chrysler, and Dodge, might soon face serious hurdles. Well, those warnings have advanced from mere conjecture to harsh realities, as recent reports indicate drastic drops in sales and mounting pressures in the market. Let's dive deeper into Jeep's situation to really emphasize the seriousness of this predicament. The brand has seen a jaw-dropping 34% plunge in sales since its high point in 2018 when it sold over 973,000 units. Fast forward to 2023, and that number has shrunk to below 643,000 units. That's more than just a minor setback, it's a significant loss that raises eyebrows. But there's another layer to this story. The average prices of Jeep vehicles have skyrocketed. Back in 2018, the average transaction price was roughly $33,954. By 2023, it hit an eye-watering average of over $54,715. That's an incredible 61% hike in just 5 years. Clearly, Jeep is fighting hard to keep its head above water amid fierce competition. And let's not forget about Ram trucks. Historically, they've enjoyed robust sales, but the brand isn't immune to the shifting tides either. Consumer tastes are changing, and competition is intensifying in the pickup truck market. Faced with pressures on pricing, Ram has felt the heat as well. Stellantis, the parent company of Jeep, is more aware than ever of these challenges, especially with recent Stark sales data painting a grim picture. In light of these Stark sales declines and the ballooning inventory, Jeep has sprung into action, implementing price reductions on several popular models to boost demand. Take the Grand Cherokee for example. Its price has been chopped by up to $4,000. The Gladiator isn't far behind with an average price reduction of around $1,700. And for those watching their budgets closely, Jeep's entry-level Compass now starts at below $26,000, down about $2,500. These price cuts are not just random decisions. They are carefully crafted moves aimed at making Jeep's offerings more attractive to consumers who are feeling the pinch during these uncertain economic times. Nevertheless, Jeep's leadership holds onto a hopeful outlook for the future. They believe that rolling out new models, alongside some imaginative marketing strategies, will be key to their comeback plan. With an eye on innovation, Jeep is investing in electric vehicles and plug-in hybrids. This shift mirrors a broader industry industry trend towards sustainable automotive solutions. On a more encouraging note, the latest sales figures indicate a potential recovery time. Jeep even reported a 28% sales increase in August 2024 compared to the same month the previous year. That's the kind of news that can breathe new life into a brand. Speaking of the competitive landscape, let's shift our focus to Ram. The brand's market share has taken a hit due to rising prices, which have made it harder for them to compete against giants like Ford and Chevrolet. In the third quarter of 2024, the brand faced approximately a 19% dip in sales. This situation calls for some quick action. Ram might need to consider offering price cuts or more enticing financing plans to win back cost-conscious customers. When it comes to Chrysler, the brand is navigating its own tricky waters within the Stellantis family, largely because of its limited range of products. The once thriving sedan market is in decline, with consumers leaning more towards SUVs and crossovers these days. This shift has led to a staggering 43% drop in Chrysler's sales figures, forcing the brand to reevaluate its strategies in both product offerings and pricing. While Chrysler hasn't yet made headlines with dramatic price cuts like Jeep, the pressure to adapt is mounting if they want to stay competitive. Dodge, on the other hand, is also wrestling with its own tough challenges. As of mid-2024, Dodge has witnessed a 47% decrease in sales year over year, a trend that speaks volumes about its shrinking lineup and the increasing competition from both established manufacturers and new electric vehicle entrants. Although there haven't been any major price cuts akin to Jeep's strategies, analysts are beginning to suggest that Dodge will soon need to adopt similar approaches to attract buyers who are more budget conscious. Dodge has historically focused on high-performance vehicles, but that niche approach may not be cutting it anymore. In a marketplace where consumers are increasingly seeking versatility and affordability, Dodge must take a step back and rethink its product lines and pricing in order to keep up with changing demands. See, the automotive world is a whirlwind of constant change, and the hurdles faced by Jeep, Ram, Chrysler, and Dodge serve as a critical reminder of just how essential it is for manufacturers to adapt. As these brands strive to tackle declining sales, rising costs, and evolving consumer preferences, smart pricing strategies and compelling, innovative products will play pivotal roles in their potential rebirth. The shifting sales dynamics become an urgent call to action, emphasizing the necessity for agility and finesse in corporate strategies. It'll be intriguing to see how these brands will weather the storms ahead and whether they can reclaim their standing in this competitive automotive landscape. But what are the challenges? Let's break this down. The first thing is EVs, a transformation like nothing the automotive industry has experienced in decades. Consumer demand, especially from those who are eco-conscious, isn't just increasing, it's skyrocketing like rockets blasting off into the great beyond. At the same time, regulatory environments are changing at breakneck speed, maintaining a sharp focus on reducing carbon emissions. It's almost like witnessing a cultural revolution in how society perceives the journey from point A to point B. However, here's the interesting twist. Stellantis is currently facing some criticism and skepticism regarding its ability to keep pace with its electrifying plans. This isn't simply a minor bump in the road. Rather, it's like being under the relentless glare of the spotlight in a way no brand ever dreams of experiencing. In a global context, automotive giants are racing ahead, launching electric models in every conceivable shape and size. Yet Stellantis finds itself caught in a tricky situation, scrambling just to keep up in this race. This delay in fully embracing electrification is significantly impacting their sales, as competitors are effectively capturing the attention of eco-friendly consumers who are eager for cleaner, more efficient driving options. It feels like a cloud of stagnation has settled over Stellantis, casting a shadow over their presence in a market that is ready and waiting for the next big sustainable innovation. But recently, consumer dialogue about electric vehicles has become quite the emotional roller coaster, throwing Stellantis' plans to launch their new electric lineup into a bit of chaos. It's a lot like preparing for an epic climax, only to walk onto the stage and discover that the audience has lost its enthusiasm. The automotive landscape beneath their feet is shifting unpredictably, but despite these challenges, Stellantis has chosen to wager everything on their forthcoming electric models. Yet these electrifying releases are occurring at a time when consumer enthusiasm is noticeably fading compared to the roaring applause of past years. So what does this imply for Stellantis? It suggests they're stepping into the spotlight without a fully engaged audience ready to cheer them on, which adds a complex layer in their efforts to attract potential buyers. Staying at the forefront of shifting market dynamics is vital, especially during times when consumer preferences are evolving rapidly. For Stellantis, this means not only rolling out new and appealing electric models, but also ensuring those models align with the latest consumer trends and purchasing habits. Imagine trying to skate on ice that keeps transforming beneath your feet. Sounds daunting, doesn't it? One moment, consumers are all about sleek, high-tech electric sedans. The next, they're yearning for robust electric SUVs that can handle adventurous outings. Stellantis must tune into these mood swings and adjust its offerings accordingly if they hope to carve out their chunk of the ever-evolving automotive marketplace. As if dealing with changing consumer preferences wasn't challenging enough, Stellantis also faces another intricate hurdle: navigating the complex web of global regulatory changes. Governments across the globe are rolling out a diverse array of policies that promote eco-friendly transportation solutions, pushing manufacturers to explore cutting-edge green technologies. This development brings along an urgent timeline. Compliance is no longer just a checkbox, it's absolutely essential for maintaining competitiveness in this whirlwind industry landscape. Stellantis must deftly navigate these waters, making sure they not only meet current regulatory standards, but also surpass future benchmarks. Failing to keep up could spell disaster, leading to hefty fines and potentially hindering their ability to innovate and launch new products effectively. With regulations changing faster than you can blink, the stakes couldn't be higher. Now, let's address the elephant in the room: the rising wave of new automakers making impressive strides in the US market. The new wave. This budding wave of competition is significantly shaking up the landscape for established players like Stellantis. These newcomers aren't just making a quiet entrance, they're doing so with remarkable flair, presenting competitive prices and fresh technologies that are captivating many consumers. In today's economy where every penny counts, shoppers are on the hunt for genuine value. And honestly, the innovations pouring out of these Chinese brands are particularly enticing. The ramifications of this surge are considerable. Stellantis is beginning to feel the heat as this influx of competition threatens to chip away at its market share and profitability, a challenge that simply cannot be brushed off. Think about it. With a broader array of options available, consumers are more empowered than ever, translating into tough times for companies that are slow to pivot. Stellantis needs to wake up and smell the coffee or risk falling further behind these agile competitors. Now, let's dive even deeper into what this situation means for Stellantis. The coming together of internal management headaches and these external pressures has resulted in a noticeable slip in the company's market standing. It's the unfortunate truth. Iconic names like Ram and Jeep, which once stood tall as dominating forces within their segment, are now suffering through significant drops in sales compared to previous years. It's a lot like watching a once mighty ship slowly sinking in uncharted waters. The path ahead is strewn with obstacles, and maneuvering through this constantly shifting automotive landscape is no small undertaking. You might ask, what's causing Stellantis to lag behind? Part of the dilemma may stem from lingering internal management issues that have troubled the company for some time. It's well understood that effective leadership is essential for guiding the ship. However, when that leadership is unstable, chaos can swiftly follow. Stellantis finds itself racing against time, needing to tackle these internal complications while simultaneously warding off a relentless wave of competition. Striking a balance in these areas is crucial if they wish to regain their footing in the market. As new competitors continually enter this fiercely contested arena, Stellantis faces the daunting challenge of reinventing its strategies. We're living in a tech-savvy era, and consumers demand nothing less than innovation in the vehicles they choose. Trailblazers like Tesla and other technology-driven automakers have raised the bar considerably. Traditional car makers must evolve or risk becoming relics of a past era. Stellantis must elevate its technological performance and features so it doesn't get left in the dust as the industry races toward electrification and next-generation advancements. So what are their plans? Carlos Tavares, the CEO of Stellantis, had his game face on when the company charged into the Chinese market. It was as if they had a big, shiny success sign lighting their way. So what was their secret sauce in tackling this automotive giant? Or should I say, the biggest player on the global stage? With Tavares steering the ship, Stellantis zeroed in on China, where a vast sea of consumers was eagerly anticipating their next ride. And what's more, China doesn't just sit around, it's a trailblazer in the realm of new energy vehicles. Armed with this knowledge, Stellantis was raring to craft a solid foothold in this vibrant and promising market. The action plan kicked off with a major operation, a state-of-the-art research and development hub in the bustling city of Shanghai. Imagine a powerhouse team of over 1,300 sharp, innovative engineers, all busting their chops to create top-notch electric and connected cars that today's drivers would drool over. Realizing they couldn't play solo in China's competitive arena, Stellantis got smart about teaming up. Partnerships became their magic bullets. They doubled down on joint ventures, notably bumping up their stake in the GAC Group collaboration from a modest 50% to a commanding 75%. This move was all about getting the inside scoop on the pulse of the local market. By owning a bigger slice of the pie, Stellantis could weave itself into the unique fabric of Chinese consumer habits and preferences. Having that local know-how became their little secret weapon, opening doors to maneuver through China's complex regulations. A task easier said than done, given each market's unique hurdles and peculiarities. Stellantis didn't just sit there looking pretty. Their clever moves paid off big time as they watched their sales soar amidst the cutthroat competition in China. This wasn't some game of chance. It was the fruit of diligent work and razor-sharp market insights. By getting on board with local production and whipping up spot-on marketing strategies, Stellantis carved out a spot on the glittering stage of automotive giants. The hustle had them basking in success, at least for a bit, carving out their piece of the action in a lively market. The joyride didn't end there. Out of their Shanghai R&D wonderland emerged innovations that were nothing short of spectacular. Stellantis aimed high, crafting vehicles that mirrored the modern driver's evolving lifestyle, jam-packed with swanky features, seamless connectivity, and a nod to sustainability. The interest in electric vehicles was spiking, nudging traditional automakers to shake up their consumer engagement strategies. Stellantis was on the ball, staying ahead of the game with aplomb. Yet, despite that electrifying start when Stellantis made a splash in 2021, going for short-term wins, this approach boomeranged, posing thorny long-term challenges. The short-sighted profit-chasing maneuvers of Stellantis worked wonders briefly. Nevertheless, the dust eventually settled, revealing less than rosy narratives. Recent reports show a troubling slide in sales within both the US and Chinese markets. Take the US for instance. Big names like Jeep and Ram are grappling with sharp declines, triggering alarm bells about the company's overall vitality. And then there's the vanishing market share saga. By chasing quick bucks, Stellantis unfortunately watched significant market potential slip away. The landscape is changing faster than you can say electric vehicle, with established makers pivoting to eco-friendlier choices and fresh Chinese challengers seizing segments with innovative offerings and tempting prices. Engrossed in swift profits, Stellantis risks losing powerful footing amid this rapid shift. Digging deeper, the brand itself seems to be taking a hit. It's a hard pill to swallow, but dealers haven't held back their criticisms of Carlos Tavares' management style. Many feel he's been a tad neglectful about the brand's essence, focusing too narrowly on immediate financial outcomes at the expense of the timeless values behind iconic names like Jeep and Chrysler. When sales professionals voice concern, it's a hint that something's awry. The repercussions, quite significant. Strained dealer relationships spell trouble, leaving them feeling abandoned while grappling with the unrelenting challenges of selling effectively. Picture being a dealer, once the face of American adventure and strength, now blindsided by management's quick buck tactics. That's a one-way ticket to disaster. Dealers play an irreplaceable role in the automotive chain, bridging customers with manufacturers. If their confidence wavers, it creates a shaky foundation for Stellantis. This situation prompts serious reflection on Stellantis' approach. The company might be footing the bill for downplaying its core strengths, that special something that turned these brands into household favorites. Building enduring brand power goes beyond chasing immediate gains. It's about nurturing a resonant identity that endures with consumers. Bypassing this essential principle, Stellantis risks fading into the background, overshadowed by rivals attuned to the significance of forward-thinking strategies. The future. The electric vehicle market is not just changing, it's transforming at lightning speed. As the landscape evolves, Stellantis finds itself up against fierce competition from various competitors. We're not just talking about well-known entities like Tesla, but also emerging players from China that are shaking things up. The intensity of this competition is palpable, making it essential for us to dig deeper into how these automotive titans are performing and what it means for Stellantis. Let's talk about Tesla first. For years, it's been the unmatched leader leader in the electric vehicle world, and they've got the numbers to back it up. In the second quarter of 2024, Tesla delivered a jaw-dropping 462,890 vehicles. That's a 6% jump from last year. Although their market share has dipped below 50% for the first time, which is a big deal, they're still a force to be reckoned with. Their continued investments into battery technology and building extensive charging networks have helped solidify their status as the top choice for electric vehicle buyers. You can see why they remain the first brand that comes to mind when people think of EVs. Now, let's shift gears and look at Stellantis. This automaker has managed to push out approximately 169,000 electric cars worldwide in the first half of 2023. While that's a commendable 24% increase compared to a year ago, it's still quite a distance from Tesla's lead. Although Stellantis is currently ranked third in EV sales across Europe, they haven't introduced their first all-electric vehicle in the US market yet. This puts them in a tricky position when facing Tesla's already established footprint in the American landscape. But wait, there's more happening. The automotive scene is seeing a rise in Chinese electric vehicle brands that are really making waves. Brands like BYD, Leap Motor, and XPeng are stepping onto the stage with high-quality offerings at competitive price points that are grabbing consumer attention. For instance, BYD claimed an impressive victory in 2023 by selling over 1 million electric vehicles, surpassing Tesla in global sales. This is a significant game changer, especially as these new brands tap into the wallets of cost-conscious consumers and put pressure on established players like Stellantis. However, it's worth noting that Stellantis has managed to outperform Tesla in Europe recently. In the first 6 months of 2023, Stellantis moved 105,413 electric cars compared to Tesla's 78,277. This show of strength in certain regional markets is a positive sign, especially since the competition with Chinese brands and Tesla continues to heat up on the international stage. Now, let's address the elephant in the room: the fierce price war erupting in the EV market, particularly in China. With over 40 brands vying for a slice of the electric pie, prices have taken a nosedive across the board, creating enormous challenges for veteran automakers like Stellantis trying to uphold their pricing strategies. This intense competition can feel like a pressure cooker. Carlos Tavares, the CEO of Stellantis, is very aware of the hurdles ahead. He has claimed that Stellantis currently enjoys better profit margins compared to both Tesla and General Motors. However, it's clear that Stellantis is still striving to keep up with the nimble competitors in terms of sales numbers and market visibility. As the electric vehicle playground continues to fill up with fresh faces, Stellantis needs to ramp up its game if it hopes to remain in the conversation. New companies like Rivian and Lucid Motors are starting to make powerful strides, particularly in North America. To stay competitive, Stellantis must not only expand its electric vehicle lineup, but also innovate rapidly to adapt to ever-changing consumer preferences. In response to this fierce competition, Stellantis has rolled out its ambitious Dare Forward 2030 strategy. This plan includes promises for multiple new electric models to hit the market by 2025, featuring exciting names like the Dodge Charge Daytona and the Jeep Wagoneer S. But the burning question remains: are these new launches enough to keep up with the likes of Tesla and the speedy Chinese competitors? That's something we can only speculate about, and we'll just have to wait and see. One thing is crystal clear: the electric vehicle race is set to get more thrilling than ever. While Stellantis may currently lag behind in the standings, with the right strategies and decisions, they could very well find themselves back in the lead. It's an evolving narrative that we'll definitely want to keep our eyes peeled for in the foreseeable future. But what's your thoughts on this? Let's know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.